Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hello.
What'd you say?
What?
Nothing. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Monster Hunter Mondays. I am posing cool with Lassans over here, and we are going to hunt some more monsters. And I think we're pretty preemptively ready, actually. We've already got a quest ready to go.
What's up, party people in the place to be?
Welcome. Come to the Giant Swords Club. We got a lot of swords lined up in this shot right here. This is cool. Yeah, I think we're starting with...
to participate.
Is it Flaming Espinos? Is that the first thing we're doing today?
Yeah, I figure we go back on something we did last week, but just kind of brush off the cobwebs kind of deal.
Nice, nice.
Because the goal tonight is to knock down Violet Mitsune, which I don't think we'll have too much trouble with.
No, I don't think so.
I thought we already did.
I don't think we beat it. I think we hunted it.
Oh no, I'm thinking Soulseer.
That sounds really familiar.
Yeah, for Title Update 2, we've got Violet Mitsune, but yeah,
Okay.
the lobby's actually full. I think the information's probably on the screen somewhere.
Oh.
I
should put that up.
But when a spot opens up, feel free, anyone who wants to hop in. We've got Tom, Lassans, welcome back. Osprey and Paz are both here, and it's been a little while since we had those guys. I know various natural disasters have kept both of you away.
Yeah.
I survived though, and that's all that matters. But Fort Myers Beach doesn't really exist anymore, and those people are still trapped on Sanibel because they can't build that causeway bridge yet. So my heart goes out to those people that are truly trapped there. And if you're somehow listening to this and you were through that, my heart and soul goes out to you and your family, because I was safe in a house, and I thought I was gonna die like 2 or 3 times. Like legitimately was hiding in a closet for like 4 hours, and it just would not stop. It was a 9.5-hour storm of tornado force winds.
And this has not been your first hurricane, Paz, right?
Oh
like
god, no, I slept through Andrew.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Having lived in Florida for a while, this isn't. You have context for what hurricanes look like.
I have been through every major hurricane that's ever come through Florida, and this
since 1980 something or 90 something.
Since Andrew, and this tops that.
Did Fran hit Florida? Do you remember Fran, or was that just a North Carolina thing? That's the one I.
That was just. It was part of Florida, but it wasn't my part of Florida.
Yeah.
And like Charlie came through this area, but didn't really affect my family that much. But yeah, this is definitely. It was essentially, they said, like an F4 tornado for 9 hours. And the issue is that tornadoes are down and dirty, quick, in and out, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you know. Time it takes you to order a pizza, tornado can come and leave. And this one was just like, nah, I'm just going to chill here for 9 hours. Because it was moving at a staggering 8 miles an hour with a 33.3 mile long eye. Which, to put it in perspective, the smaller the eye, the more condensed the storm is. So I talk about Andrew, which was the Category 5, which was possibly the strongest storm that's ever hit Miami, at least. It had a 10 mile an hour, a 10 mile long eye. So very
condensed. So how long did the eye last? So when I remember in Fran, we had about 15 minutes in the eye. And like I remember neighbors going out and like checking damage and stuff, but it wasn't like a super long time. Or
it
was
wasn't
it like
super? Well, the thing about it is that we got both the dirty and the clean side. So if you're new about hurricanes, you want the front half of it, but you don't want the back half of it, because that's what they call the dirty side, or the hard. The winds change direction, and it's a lot worse because it's coming right off the edge. So you want kind of the front of the storm, and you want the back end to kind of scoot over you or through you or around you. We just got hit with both sides. That's the story. We got an eye for about 30 minutes, and there were neighbors outside just, trying to do their best. I mean, lots of damage, lots of...
Oh, that's my bad. I was mid-combo when it fell asleep.
Oh, you're good.
And yeah, but you know what? I survived. I'm happy. We got power. I got internet, so I'm surviving. A lot of stuff is gone still, though. Publix is not yet recovered. All their meat, and I truly mean all of their meat is gone.
Wow.
You can't really get bread either. A lot of, but that's not because of like people are just resupplying after they had to essentially throw all their food away.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And then Osprey, you've experienced essentially the opposite of a hurricane.
I wasn't like directly involved in like I wasn't directly in the line of like the fires. But I have discovered over the past couple months that, or last month, that the smoke from the fires does not mix well with me, so I've been having to use an inhaler this week breathing. Yeah.
Is it, I guess, I'm assuming that there's, like, with the increased exposure, there's going to be studies on, like, hopefully long-term effects and all that stuff, or has most of that stuff been happening because of all the wildfires that already happened in, like, California, you think?
So I think that already, for some regions just have clean air in general. I think there have already been studies about it. The difference for me is that originally, other years when this would happen, like I've always been somewhat close to smoke. The difference this time was get away from it. The air in my house was so I was constantly in it. To other years, I could like go somewhere with clean air and be fine. This year, it kept building up and building up, and finally my body just couldn't keep up with it anymore with PR because I was having to breathe.
Yeah.
So they gave me a breathing treatment and sent me home with the treatment they gave me was set to last like 8 hours because of how long that medication works. And then what they did was they gave me a prescription for an inhaler, and they're basically like, you can use this, so you hopefully don't have to come back to the ER for this. And it helped me hopefully not go to the ER. Like, I've used it a few times. Like, I start having a wheezing fit, or I get really short on breath from you, apparently, and the air's been taking that. I get a little shaky and sleepy sometimes afterwards, but I'd rather be a little shaky and sleepy and have to take a nap than not be able to participate.
Agreed. Probably the preferred outcome. What about you, Lassans? Remind me again, you're in Germany?
Yes,
Earthquakes? Volcano?
Are there any volcanoes in Germany?
Nah, I don't think so, but nothing active. What is your natural disaster of choice?
Choice is generous.
Yes. I guess what is your region like? I feel like everyone gets hit by something. That's just the way the world works. What does Germany get? Tornadoes? Earthquake. Oh, gotcha. Okay, no problem.
No problem.
Tom, you and I live in like the eastern edge of Tornado Alley.
Yeah, I think all we really get is tornadoes. I don't know if we get earthquakes.
Flooding, I guess, like general flooding.
Mostly water, yeah.
I have a funny story about that actually. So, you know how comics and I were in Ohio for a little bit?
No.
Rude. And I say that in but our first night there, we were chatting with Kate, and all of a sudden we hear the sirens, and I was like, so how's this work?
That must have been a Wednesday.
Actually no, it was that night there was actually.
Oh, was it the one? It was the one that touched down in like Goshen area. Yeah.
I think, I don't know, but there was a warning, right? So I was like, okay, because I realized I don't know anything about this. What do we do if it does get exposed? So they gave the quick rundown. It's like, okay. And then at one point, before we left, I had heard about another, like, and I was like, well, it can't be too bad. I don't hear the sirens.
Yeah, I'm like, so for tornadoes, you go down in the basement and other protected parts of the building. Earthquakes, you want to go to like, what, a door frame? Hurricanes. Generally, hurricanes you just expect. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to like, well, like, I don't know why this was flashing my brain during the whole nuclear war issues. They were like, go under a desk. I'm like, that ain't gonna save you.
But that's more of, I think, a public, like, preventing, like, people just going nuts kind of thing.
I think though for earthquake though, you do want to get under something that's like can't fall apart, because you want to watch out for stuff falling off the wall or your feet.
So, as somebody who grew up in an earthquake area, yes, you do want something that can shield you from falling debris. So, like, they tell kids to get under the desks because they have a better chance if there's stuff above them that take the brunt of any, like, debris and stuff. Like, obviously not everybody can see the doorway, the door frame. So, basically, get under something that kind of try to shield the back of your neck and curl up. And then, because actually, there was one earthquake that in this area is referred to as a quake. It wasn't even the worst one, it was just more noticeable than they usually are to us. And I think that was the Nisqually quake back in the early 2000s. My class actually was under our desks before our teacher even realized there was an earthquake. She was very proud of us. Because she was, at first she thought the door was rattling because she thought the principal was playing a prank. This was back before I got homeschooled. And the second she realized it was an earthquake, she turned to tell all of us to get under our desks, but we were already under there. We had
what an odd prank for, I'm sorry to interrupt, what an odd prank for a principal to play.
Yeah, he was like in his 90s. And he was very odd.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like, I was surprised he was still doing stuff.
Still an educator.
Yeah, well, he didn't have to do it. And I think the vice principal did most of the stuff. I think they kept him around because of how long he had been working at that private school. And like, yeah, he was definitely the vice principal handling most of the stuff ended up being a problem when we got a new vice principal, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time that involves kids not having enough time to actually eat.
God. Schools are fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hello to everyone that just
Hi,
came
Shanice.
in. Hi,
Yeah.
Shanice.
Yeah, well, I was gonna go through. Hi, Shanice. Hi, Raffle Rosa. Hi, Boom. Oh, Boom Headshot was here already. Fuck you, Boom Headshot. Get out of here. Hi, Ella Bit. Thank
yes,
you.
Thank you for the sub, Elabit.
Oh shit, she subbed to us?
Was it a sub? I think it was a sub. I could be wrong. I have
Thank
not
you,
looked at my
Element.
alert
This
box.
is not.
It's
This
been a
is
while.
not us trying to socially pressure you to sub if you haven't. We honestly don't know what to do with it. Now, if you did sub to us, we absolutely do know what to do with it, and we appreciate it. But if you haven't,
Yeah.
Cameron being awkward.
hello, hi, hello, Harry today. What's up? What's up? Oh god, that was what 25 years ago.
Aged me about 20 years
Oh
just
my
now.
god.
Boom Headshot says earthquakes and snowstorms. That feels like what, Northern California? I don't know.
Nope.
Montana.
I know earthquakes are usually
Montana.
Pacific side.
Rathlerosa, flooding, tornadoes. Oh yeah, because you're with us. You're in Cincinnati somewhere. Which, by the way, are you coming to Blink? Rathlerosa, are you coming to Blink? You should come to Blink. We should do we're doing a meetup on the Discord. People who are physically in
that's right.
Cincinnati are coming to Blink. So you come to Blink. They're gonna do some testing. At some point, I may go blind, because they put a warning out shut all the blinds and everything, because we're gonna be doing testing tonight, and so things will be more intense than they normally are. And our building is part of Blink. I guess if I'm saying Blink a lot, and everyone's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Going blind, blink. Yeah, it's all kind of related
Blink
somehow.
is a citywide art installation. It's a bunch of art installations, mostly related to digital art, like light shows and interactive murals and that stuff. Oh, failed to join quest.
It looked like you ducked out there for a second. I'm not sure if that's...
Yeah, it dropped me out. This is the reason I do not be the POV, because I don't know why the fuck this keeps happening. I've been troubleshooting for a while for basically when Danny's doing his Wednesday thing, I hop on and I spend some time trying to figure out why my connection sucks.
Ah, okay.
For more accessibility features.
Hey Google, what's going on? Thanks for joining the chat.
Actually, it's Microsoft.
Oh,
I
right.
mentioned I was reformatting my computer, and it's a good thing that it has the accessibility where it starts reading that it was just throttling and no, I'm on the speaker, no. But yeah, Cameron said digital art. No, that was not. Light displays was not my.
Yeah, maybe there's a better term for it.
Live art?
Light art? Yeah, light art.
Or I said live art, but...
Oh, it's not live, though. It's like a pre-recorded thing.
It's like a sequence, I guess.
Tends not to be live performers.
It's like a program.
So it's like screens, digital things,
It's
those fireworks that they're doing in Beijing, except they're not using fireworks anymore because Beijing's already polluted. They're using drones.
So that would definitely fit into Blink. It's a lot of that sort of stuff with painted murals and light sculptures and that sort of thing. And it's interactive in that when you go to a mural, you can, it's programmed in a way that you can interact. I'll definitely do some filming over the weekend and share some of the more interesting exhibitions, because I think that'd be cool.
I don't think I've ever been, actually, now that I think about it.
You've never been to Blink?
I don't think so. At least if
Are you coming
if
this year?
I was, I should be. Yeah, I should be going to this year's for the event. But I've heard about it a lot, but never actually been.
Cool.
Gets
Yeah,
rave
we'll
reviews.
if you need help with parking, let me know, because our building has some free parking spots that they're setting aside for Blink people.
Okay.
It's first come, first serve, but parking tends to be kind of a mess because Cincinnati is mostly suburbs around a small downtown area, so when Blink happens, a 250,000 people try and cram themselves down in the downtown.
I figured I'd suffer through just getting a ride share or something, just to get.
Oh,
out
that
there.
too.
You
But
know,
yeah,
at this rate, I'm gonna have to get more arbitrary or more people to join the channel from the region I'm in and start setting up channel meetings.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I
Yeah.
think you have. I think there's a decent amount. I felt like a bunch of people from the Pacific kind of were talking to each other about stuff, whether it was California or Seattle.
I don't. Maybe I should do a check in the Discord, see, be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, how many of us
Ask
are actually from that region?
Don't mind me, chat. I'm just
in
gonna plug in
general.
my controller.
Yeah, I know
I
at the
like the
very
region
least
thing.
in the time zone because more people have been doing like West Coast time stuff. And then Nate's a little closer to you now.
Poor Nate.
He's
Oh,
I think it'll be. I know he's like he goes through his moments of excited versus a little grumpy about it. But I think it'll be a lot of fun for
Oh, did Nate finally get
yeah.
his marching orders, as it were?
him. North Dakota.
Yeah, I think he
My
leaves
family
tomorrow.
is actually from North Dakota, so
Oh really?
yes, my mother was born there.
Oh
So
goddamn it!
they know quite a bit about that area, Fargo, North Dakota.
He's gonna be in Bismarck. But yes.
Oh well, if he needs any advice, send him my way. My mother will never stop talking about her love for Fargo and North Dakota in general, because you know it's where she was born.
Yeah.
Even though she didn't even grow up there that long, she was only there for like 5 years. But you know,
Did you get disconnected, Cameron?
I did. It seems like it's going to be one of those days. If anyone wants to hop in on the lobby before I manage to reconnect, feel free wherever the lobby information is. Oh, actually, here I can post it if it's not up in chat.
It should be on screen. The same lobby.
Yeah, it's up on screen. And what is it? Exclamation mark Monster or Discord.
Yes. For the Discord link.
Awesome.
I also did up the bitrate and some other video settings on OBS tonight, chat. So if there's any audio issues or if things are better, feel free to let us know.
okay, I cannot hold it. Can we please talk about Gundam?
I was just thinking the same
yes.
thing off the pads. I was like, oh, all I want to do.
No, let's do it. Okay. So, the Gundam, I was going to say the Gundam, the Witch from
The
Mercury.
Gundam.
The Mobile Suit Gundam, the Witch from Mercury, the first new Gundam story, in 7 years, which is an astounding amount of time to me to think that Iron Blood Orphans is that old.
2014.
I always think of
Yeah.
it as like 3 or 4 years old, but it's,
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, it came out a couple years ago. It's like, oh no, it's almost at its decade anniversary. But Mobile Suit Gundam Witch from Mercury. First 2 episodes are out. The prologue came out earlier in like the summer.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess I have a lot of thoughts, but because I have a lot of thoughts, I feel like I should go last. So Tom, talk us through. You just watched the 2 episodes this weekend, right?
I did. So I watched the prologue when it came out. I watched 1 and 2 yesterday, actually. I know I'm pretty long-winded about this stuff, so I'll keep it concise, but Gundam good. I like it. I like Ariel's design. I am a poor judge of when stories are good and bad, so I think the story's pretty decent so far. There's definitely some weird plot issues, but I spent most of last year going through a lot of Universal Century, so it's been really nice, especially since IBO is one of my favorites, but I think it's pretty good so far. I've got bombs. But overall, I like it a lot so far, and I would be remiss to say that I'm not biased because of how cool the combat is in the show. A lot of the modern Gundams have great combat, but man, I love the swarm weapons on this thing. It's great. I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm pretty smitten with it so far, but I'm sure there's some other opinions that'll temper my expectations. Last thing, that fucking ending theme though. / opening theme. Oh my god.
It slaps hard.
It's so good. It's so good.
I really like the opening. I was surprised
the
by how
opening
much
too.
I liked. Yeah, the music is a little more subtle than the ending theme, but the visuals in the opening, I think, do a great job of depicting what the series is about. I guess, is there any specific themes or anything you want to touch on regarding the show that you've noticed so far that you find interesting?
It definitely. I mean, well, the plot and how the school works, I think, is it's an interesting choice. I like that they're trying to take the. There's some like sort of like chauvinistic themes. I don't know if chauvinistic is the right word, but like just like how the prep academy style story is being subverted with the inclusion of Soletta Mercury is the protagonist's name, or at least.
Which isn't her real name if you watch the prologue. But I love that if you haven't watched the prologue, you don't even know that yet.
Right.
I'd be so curious to see a poll on like where the fandom sits. I imagine most like Gundam fans have watched the prologue and like know kind of the background story already. But there's probably a lot of new fans that are just watching this for the first time that maybe they don't know there is a prologue out there, and so they're gonna get like this really cool reveal soon.
Right. Yeah. And that's definitely part of it too. I think it's interesting because I haven't seen a whole ton of Gundam series. Well, I say that, but it's just I haven't seen the really celebrated ones outside of like Wing. But I like that they're subverting some things with it. I think there's some not weird choices, but there's like maybe like some like gaps or something that I'm trying to fill in. But I think that's part of what's going to be explained more with the story. I hope we get to see more of what's going on with Arbitrary itself. They've hinted at how like there's differences, like a lot of Gundam shows do the class warfare kind of thing between people that have money and people that don't. And this one sort of borrows from IBO with how they talk about Mercury and like miners and belters, whatever it's called. And I'm kind of hoping that we'll see a little bit more on that. But in terms of like story, like it's got some high school elements to it. I don't know if people were ready for that. I don't mind that stuff myself, but I think like my roommate and some other people are gonna be flat out grim dark warfare, and that's not about. Although it does still have the war is bad, but look at this cool robot kind of going.
Yeah, the Gundam writers are not fans of subtext. Subtext is for cowards.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, overall so far I like it. There's some really interesting themes going on. I think even in the prologue I was a little like trying to figure out what Delaney, one of the main antagonists' whole deal is and what the message is about. Why they are preventing. Specifically, there's a bigger, like we've talked about, a big discrepancy between especially this time around. And I think that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because there appears to be some more mechanical differences between the two, and specifically there's like laws regarding it in this one. But yeah, overall I like it. I think the story it's a little early to say how I feel with the story overall, but the combat is good from the little bits we've seen. But hopefully it will match my expectations that I think IBO has kind of set the bar on in terms of Gundam combat.
Paz, you want to go next?
Sure. So I've pretty much seen every Gundam under the sun. I'm a big Gundam fan, and initially, I don't hate her. I think she has a lot of room to grow, but just that first scene we get her, and the whole like bringing the person into the thing, and they're both students, and she's kind of stumbling, and it just. That's not your typical pilot, at least in my brain. Your typical pilot is brash. You know, they do something unexpected, and you know they're confident. But I think it's also a good thing that she's not confident. She doesn't really know. She's a very good pilot, I guarantee you. And I think she just needs to kind of grow that confidence. And I hope we do get to see that, because I don't think we've ever had a Gundam pilot that's like, no, I'm not confident in what I'm doing. I'm kind of nervous. I'm sure she's an excellent pilot, obviously. I hope it's not just because she can, she doesn't have those instincts we were talking about. So, a little on that. But from what I've seen, I like her. I'm just not she's not my favorite protagonist. Let's just say that.
But to be fair, your
love the
favorite
art style.
protagonist, you've had like 50 plus episodes to get to know.
Exactly. I'm sure that once like they really start spreading out her story, it's gonna get a lot better. I mean, my favorite person is definitely Ghoul. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. God, I can't freaking pronounce his name. The kind of I like him because he is your typical pilot. He's brash, he's rude, he's like, I'm a better pilot than everyone. That's type of the typical pilot we sometimes see, or in the Iron Blood Orphan route, someone who is just too good to care. Like their protag. He was just a kid, and he really gave zero fucks. He just killed people ruthlessly. And I feel every Gundam will always tell a story, not just about war, not just about the aftermath, but like how it kind of screws with kids, especially. They featured heavily on children's soldiers in Iron Blood Orphans, and
the effects that war and trauma have on children.
Yes, and I'm kind of hoping they do something similar with this series, because it is a little weird that it's an entire academy, and they're training high school. Like,
the dueling stuff.
I don't know how I feel about that, because when I was a kid, I've been like, yes, I want to go to this academy, but now I'm like, you could not pay me money to go through the type of hell these kids are probably going to have to go through, because we're going to see the protag's point of view. Think of all the background students that aren't as lucky as some of the protags are, or not as good as some of them are, and might get, shafted a little sometimes, or at least feels like it. Where, they're not going to be good enough to pilot something.
To that point, and context for those who may not be as familiar with the Gundam franchise as a whole, the creator, Yoshiyuki Tomino, his story that he told in the first series and what he kind of goes back to over and over again, he was a child during World War II. He was born in 1940 or something. So he was like, towards the end of the war, he was like 5 or 6 years old or something. So like the story, the original Gundam story is about the failures of Imperial Japan in deciding to go to war in the first place. He is someone who is a very big pacifist, and surprisingly, right, in the series that followed the original wasn't originally a story to sell toys, but the series afterwards have been somewhat stories to sell toys. But he keeps saying, okay, we're going to use this to sell toys, but I'm going to tell my story, which is that if you get to the point where you have warfare, everyone has already failed. There are no good people in a war. You can have people with good intentions, but by participating, it's already a tragedy. To that end, I am super curious where this particular show is going. Like you said, Paz, because of that setting.
Yeah. I don't think and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if we've seen high school students in the show, because those are primarily your pilots, as messed up as that might sound. But have we actually ever had a full-blown organization that's training Gundam pilots? Because that's what they're doing. There be no mistake here. They are training these kids to be and training them for essentially just warfare in general. Do we know who they're fighting? I don't think we even know who they're technically fighting, if they are fighting.
I think
and if they're not fighting,
representing a military during peacetime. These industries are like PMCs essentially, or part of whatever this universe's military-industrial complex is. I don't think there's currently a war happening, but that'll have to change soon, I'm sure.
Yeah. Gundam is, whether you love the show, hate the show, it is one thing and one thing alone, and that is some type of warfare is in every single Gundam show, whether we know it or not. And but just quickly before I continue, first of all, what I love about the show, the animation style is beautiful, crisp, clean. The fighting that we've seen, also beautiful, crisp, clean. This is really, I think, the first time they've done it, the animation from what we're used to seeing. Like we said, Iron Blood Orphan, which is the last quote-unquote mainline series, is an older series. It came out around 2014. Now we're in 2022. We're seeing god tier animation here. I mean, this is beautiful. It's breathtaking. When you're out in space, you feel like you're in space. You really do.
Who's next pick? Is that Lassans or is that someone else? Lassans, you want to pick?
Why not?
Sorry, keep going, Paz.
It's fine. I love the animation. Another thing I love is in previous Gundam shows, sometimes they shy away from it. And that's how Gundam improve society. Because it's not every Gundam is a mobile suit like Nate was saying. There are just your regular Gundams, you know, that are just kind of out there, that are in the streets, and we see that type of system in the very first episode. You see that there's multiple types of Gundams and there's multiple types, so that means that's another thing that kind of has me excited for if they are going to war. They have an army ready to be mobilized at a second's notice. They have the army. It's trained. It's ready. We see it in the streets. You see it. They are ready. They're having fighting practice. That is one thing, though. It's a trope in anime, and it kills me every time because the whole. Just a quick little spoiler thing. The main character, she's in like this training area, and there's these two giant Gundams, and they're fighting. I'm like, you can't rope that off. How much technology do we have?
Yeah. OSHA needs to get involved.
OSHA, where are you at?
Where are the guardrails? Where are the safety harnesses?
Well, and we didn't even talk about the Gund arm thing. That kind of goes back to what you were talking about, Paz. Like the Gund arm, like the technology itself, just like even on human beings. It's not even on Gundams.
So in each series, Gundam means something different. Like in the first series, Gundam was the name of a specific prototype robot, and then robots that were based off of that design that came later. In Gundam Wing, Gundam was anything made with a particular alloy that could only be blended on the moon. Now I feel like Gundam means a software, the Gund format and the Gundam system, which we as viewers still don't know exactly what that is.
I don't even think we'll. I think what I think it is. I think it's an AI. That's the one thing that I think. That here's my little brain yelling at me. In all of Gundam, it's always been humans. But and once again, correct me if I'm wrong. We haven't seen a lot of AI in Gundam, have we?
No, the biggest thing I can think of is the mobile dolls and Wing.
Yeah, but I don't even know if I would even count those as really decent
I guess there's
AI.
the
Where
armors.
that is what I'm waiting for. I am waiting for.
What did you say, Tom?
Oh, mobile armors from IBO, but I don't know if that's AI.
I don't. Yeah, I want artificial intelligence. I want the stuff that's that's where's Cleverbot? You know, in Gundam.
So I don't want to spoil anything, but if anyone's curious, they did release a short story in Japan in a hobbyist magazine, model kit magazine, that bridges the prologue and episode 1, and that does answer your question, Paz, on whether or not AI will be prominent in the show.
I kind of want it. If it isn't, I'm not going to be disappointed. If it is, I'm even more excited because I love that perspective because, like I said, you have a technology that is far outclassing anything that we currently know of. And you think that's the first thing they would do is say, we can't trust humans, humans have emotions, give that shit to an AI. At least that's what's in my brain, and that's what that's telling me. You can't trust a human, you know? But then again, then we're just gonna get into the trope of, well, humans are better and faster, and we can think with our brains and not what, people tell us and all that fun stuff. I'm not just saying that because, robot uprisers. It's gonna happen. It will. We've already seen it, and it's terrifying. But I think that everything I've seen from the 2 episodes, the animation's beautiful. It truly feels like a Gundam show, and like a Gundam in its prime type show. As weird as that is to say, and I think the soundtrack is beautiful. The opening and ending are really fun. I do like them because sometimes I feel like Gundam openings and endings kind of struggle a little. I don't know why I always feel like that, but I sometimes feel like the kind of kicker to the episode is always just a little... The last one I saw was Iron Blood Orphans, and that was the last good OP, I think, for Gundams, but this one is coming up really good, and I really enjoy it. I really like the different technology groups that we have and the different schools that we have. It's not just this one school. No, you have different people, and they're kind of focusing on different things. So I really like to see that. It feels like a big tournament arc. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it feels
for
like.
sure.
Yeah, I was
It's the
going to get into
school
that.
theme,
Like
yeah.
like Tom said earlier. Tom, you were saying like it what is it called,
The Gundam? Or
the story format. It's a bunch of kids at a school that's divided into houses.
Yeah, it's
Like
got
the
a high school
UK
shonen thing, yeah.
It's Harry Potter, but for
Yeah,
robots.
but like it's a genre outside of Harry Potter now, right?
Yeah.
The boarding school, like the UK boarding school format
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So like they're kind of doing that with the different, like it seems like there's the school and then each company sponsors what would be the equivalent of a house under their name. And like you were saying, the tournament arc, like it is interesting. So there are, in my mind, there are generally 2 types of Gundam shows. You have the Gundam show, most of the Gundam shows are Tomino stories about war, and then every now and then you have a Gundam show about how models are cool, like build fighters or SD whatevers. This one kind of feels like the prologue very much felt like the Tomino story, and then episode 1 was at first a little jarring for me because I was like, wait, is this going to be like a build fighters type show? And I think it's like going to be a hybrid of the 2, which is interesting because I don't think that's really been done before. The tournament shows tend to be a little more lighthearted, with not so heavy stakes, like the Build Diver series and that stuff. But this one is definitely going to have like heavy stakes, it seems.
Yeah, I'm very much interested in where this is going. And if anyone is confused by what we mean by this is the first Gundam show, there's been other shows with the Gundam tagline, like Builders, like Try, etc., that have come out between Iron Blood Orphans and the Witch.
Right.
But they're not in the quote-unquote main story. Try is an offshoot, and so is Builders, and so is all that. They're side stories. They're not in any type of universe that we know of, or that maybe not our universe, but kind of as close to our universe as we can get.
Or they've come out with shows and stories that are sequels to existing universes, like Thunderbolt or Hathaway. That stuff was already in an established universe.
Yeah, this is if anyone's confused by what we mean by universe, the Gundam timeline is a hot mess.
I don't know about that. It's just they tell separate stories that are
They have a lot of similar themes.
By theme. Yeah.
Like this one has
But I mean,
Haro
like,
in it. It's not
Like if someone, well, my big issue is that the biggest obstacle getting into someone to Gundam is this is, I think, one of the best right now jumping in points to Gundam. Period. You have a new universe, so there's no previous established rules that you need to know going into it. There's nothing like that.
Yeah, the show's going to explain everything you'll need to know.
Exactly, because it's got to not just pander to the new viewers, but the new viewers.
Right. I think so long as people can get with like some of like the themes, like the school thing doesn't bother me, but I've heard a lot about that. But I think it's fine. But if someone's like looking for a show about mechs and they're open to, you know, general like anime themes, I think this one does a perfect job.
And I think
Also-
it's going to be immensely successful.
Oh yeah.
Everything I've seen, the response has been tremendous, not just I think in general, the Gundam fandom has appreciated the show and enjoyed it, but then the non-Gundam fandom in this case has picked up the show in a way that I don't think, like it happened to some extent in IBO, but not to what I have seen in terms of viewership numbers or Witch from Mercury.
I also think, well, that also, you know, remember that was in 2014. Anime has done so far in that timeline. So, one more real quick thing before we drop it off the camera and his thing. My big selling point, or my big, like, if I had to pick something and I say you need to watch this and they say why, so far there's a little bit of politics, but we're not getting shoved politics down our throat just yet. It'll happen, but for the first 2 episodes, it's more of companies screwing over companies rather than government screwing over civilians.
Yeah, I guess to preface that, because this is the internet and people in general are shitty, when you're talking about politics, you're not talking about the chud version of politics, which is there are minorities and women in this. Gundam literally talks about politics as one of its
like how people are governed, like literally.
Yeah. And like we said earlier, it's not subtle about it.
Yeah.
But in
It's
this
gonna
case,
hit you over the head with a hammer.
it's corporate politics more than governmental politics, which also feels like a first.
Yeah, I would say like that was actually.
We had a little bit of that in Iron Blood Orphans with the whole.
Yeah, it was
kind of
companies like
revolution
vying
and-
for like trade routes, and I think that they do a good job of continuing that here because it's like it's weird. It's almost like a like. If you watch the prologue, the main antagonist, at least who I assume is, does like a big spiel about like what like his overall like message and like ideology is, and like it kind of comes to fruition these last 2 episodes of like, it's definitely like a very like militaristic, you know, kind of dystopic, kind of like, you know, I'm in control, I have all the shit, but it's also like he's making all of these like rich families that have their own like production like companies like vie for like the money and the power and stuff. So it's like he's fucking over everyone on every level. So it's kind of like a cool like you can tell that even some of these more privileged families are gonna have moments where they're like, hey, this is bad actually. Maybe we shouldn't do this. So that's like
But yeah,
the
yeah, politics is a big thing. Like, and I'd say almost every mecha, there's some form of politics in almost every mecha show. Code Geass is probably the best example of that. That show is literally like 30% cool robots, 60% fighting politics with each other and princes and everything. But yeah,
60% with Robert's Rules of Order.
yes. You get a lot of like.
I'm not
ooh.
complaining. I'm not complaining about that. But
It is. Yeah, a lot of, if you are not a particular fan of political stuff, it's not like it's
political dialogue.
Yeah.
Right.
like the
people
crunchy stuff, like Metal
describing-
Gear.
Yeah, monologuing about political maneuvering, which not everyone would find interesting even when it's done well. And Gundam doesn't always do that well.
No. They're about as subtle as, like I said, a hammer or a child with a hammer. They're gonna bang it everywhere, and you don't really know if they're gonna bang it correctly or they're just doing it because it sounds fun in their head.
Yeah.
You know. But politics and, like I said, they go hand in hand, and I'm interested to see this type because we have never seen really a high school setting. So like, are we gonna do the typical, I want the main protagonist to run for high school president type of thing, and they have way too much power? And
I was literally about to say where the high school president has more power than the real president.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, are we getting that? Is that how we're going? And if that's the case, we have not met that character that will eventually do that, because do not tell me there's always one in every show. Like that's like, who are you and why are you just like a actual god?
Yeah.
How? But we haven't met that soon because we're going into it. So that if it does go down that route, I think we're in for a action-packed, campy sort of thing. And I think that would be okay. I know some people are like, no, it has to be serious. I'm like,
I would be okay with that, but it would definitely not match the tone set by the prologue, which would be very strange.
I think it's gonna try and do like a mash of both, is what it seems. I
Yeah,
mean, well,
yeah.
when I say both, I mean like it's using the high school part because I think it appeals to audiences, but also like it's a good storytelling vessel, or at least it's a common one. But I do think that like the politics stuff here is the core of it. No matter what the dressing is, that is absolutely what it's going to end the climax on. It's about this the governance of people and the people on Mercury as well as disabled in multiple formats. I say disabled.
Yeah. So I guess before I get into my thoughts, does anyone else online have either questions or thoughts about Gundam, or questions about what context for anything we're talking about?
I got in halfway through the discussion. What the heck did
Hey,
I
Black
just
Man.
hear? Hey.
Have you watched any Gundam shows?
Nope.
We're talking about
Ben.
giant robots.
War is
Yep.
bad, but robots are cool.
I know what it is. I just never watched them.
So the new series just came out. The first 2 episodes are out online, which I'm going to talk about that too. But they're out, and it sounds like a unanimous enjoyment, maybe to different degrees, but from our corner, we all have enjoyed it immensely.
it's just robots punching each other in the end of the day, sprinkled with some high school antics and politics that are surely to come, and hopefully people will like.
It's like the scenes in the worst Gundam politicking can be pretty bad. It's like, when I think of the bad example for people to understand, it's like the scenes of episode 2 of Star Wars. Those like goddamn boring ass Senate meetings.
Oh
And you're
yeah.
like, why are you showing us this, George Lucas? And sometimes Gundam can do that.
Yes. But yeah, that's what we were talking about. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, Black Knight, how's it going?
Big Black Knight. Yes.
Not bad. I bought my friend's Sunbreak, and then
Oh,
he
nice.
turned around and he bought his friend's Sunbreak, who then bought our other friend's Sunbreak. So now
Nice.
all 4 of us group had Sunbreak.
You have PC Sunbreak Bud?
Yeah.
Sunbreak step.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Awesome.
good. You could always use more PC players. I know we were lacking on that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going from here, but my friend group bought that Sunbreak.
Oh, get him in the Discord. We need PC Sunbreak peeps.
I'll see you later.
I guess, yeah, okay. I'm about ready to go through my point-by-point list. But before I do Osprey, I felt like, I know we were ranting and raving. Did you have a question at any point or a thought to share?
The high school thing doesn't really surprise me that much, with it being a military-industrial complex, because even in the US, like, we have JROTC.
Very true.
Yeah, like West Point. Yeah.
It would be like if we took JROTC and taught them all to be tank pilots.
Yeah, like, in the kind of universe that seemed established from the pilot I saw, it made 100%.
You saw the prologue.
Yes, I saw the prologue. I haven't seen I saw that when I didn't know the episode yet. I haven't watched that.
Oh, gotcha.
I might hold off until I'm in a better space, just because I haven't been feeling completely great recently, just because everything's been stressful.
Yeah, even on the best of days, Gundam tends not to be a feel-good
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, I've been watching a little bit of Rings of Power, and, well, I was watching Rings of Power, and then someone before, in one of the episodes got really bad, so now I'm letting the Atomic Fox watch them before,
Kind of screen it a little bit.
yeah, because there was one episode where somebody got shot through the shoulder with an show, and there was like arterial blood, where it was literally spouting and timing. Like it was literally, the Atomic Clock said it was a level of gore on par with Saving Private Ryan, and
Oof.
ever since I worked in the ER, it's been a lot harder for me to deal with gore in PE. Probably
Fair,
because
yeah.
I
I have
understand.
more
Yeah.
of a, like, it feels a little more real when I've actually dealt with it.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm just like, how is this not TVMA? Like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm just being super careful about what I watch because I've been
Yeah.
so suppressed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go back to Gundam real quick, but to that point, I think we talked about it on the Discord briefly, but I think I misremembered how much gore there was. I thought, like, Lord of the Rings, like, it wasn't like a gore fest, but I was like, yeah, they show blood and stuff, but then going back and watching it, it's, like, surprisingly bloodless.
Yeah,
Like, they do,
Lord of
like,
the
black
Rings is
ooze sometimes and stuff, but it's never, like vivid red, like the way my memory plays it up in my head from like 10-year-old me loving it.
It's very much made for
it's not
families.
it's not as bloody as I remembered.
Oh yeah, like this show gets, and there's a few times in the show, and for any parents watching who might be wondering if their kids should watch this show, I would not fully trust the rating.
Yeah.
Galadriel drops the F-bomb.
Not that I recall, but
No, that doesn't
there's
happen. I haven't even seen it.
Things where like you see a bone go away it's not supposed to go, and that kind of weirded me out a little bit. But it's definitely on the whole, it's not gonna be on the, like, it is more gory than like The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings by it. Like, and the first couple episodes aren't nearly as bad as that one episode we saw where I was just like, okay, this is too much. So, just fair warning to anybody wanting to watch it. It might be a little gorier than it.
Real quick, hey Cheryl. Yes, we did start about 15 minutes earlier than usual, but we should be going around pretty much the same time frame.
Galadriel dropping heat. Yeah, she had a gamer moment. No, I have no idea. I want to check it out at some point. I don't even know the timeline, like the time period it's in. Tanner has been talking about it, and he's been like faint, like not like he hasn't hated it. It's not. He said the costume design is wonderful, the sets are amazing, but he's kind of enjoyed it enough for what it is. I gotta check it out sometime. Who's next to hunt?
I don't have many like high investigations, but I can pick something. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So for me, I saw an anime or something like this. I never saw one of them, and how you described it to me, it is amazing. I want to see one of them.
If you can, I think depending on the country you're in, you might be able to watch the episodes like of the new show, Witch from Mercury, out on YouTube as they come out in certain regions. Or the other one I think we would all recommend would be the older show Iron Blooded Orphans. I mean, it's not compared to the other Gundam shows, it's not old, but that's like a complete series. Yeah, it's I think it's very much worth checking out.
I don't know. If you can excuse me for a minute, I need to go to that.
Oh, sure thing.
No problem.
Paz dropped out.
Oh, well, I mean,
Hopefully
he's,
it's okay.
yeah, he'll be fine.
Speaking of Cheryl, if everybody's done with talking about...
No, I haven't even started yet. What the fuck?
Alright.
Ratha was asking about that in chat, Cam. I wasn't sure if you read that or not.
Yeah, I have a list. Oh. What's this one?
Sorry, it just felt like you'd been talking about it for an eternity.
Oh, I have, and I will continue. Okay. Gundam. So the first off, I'm not super happy with Crunchyroll. I unsubscribed from them a while ago because I don't think their subtitles are great quality. But if you are in a region that allows it, YouTube on Gundam.info shows episodes, does streaming of episodes on Sundays, or you can use a VPN if you're not in the right region, or the secret ingredient is crime. To
VPNs.
watch Witch from Mercury. I'll say this because no one else brought it up. I think that this might be the most excited I have been for a Gundam in a while, because I believe strongly that this story can go one of two ways. yeah, Paz. I can't post that publicly, but exactly.
I know, but that's the best site I've found so far.
This particular Gundam show is a hybridization of two very well-known stories. One is Revolutionary Girl Utena,
Yeah.
which is a wonderful anime, came out in the 90s? Early 90s, maybe? Maybe late 80s?
It must
I
have,
don't remember
because
exactly what.
it is one of the 3 movies I saw as a kid when I was like 6 years old that completely like woke my brain.
Yes.
It's great.
Revolutionary Girl Utena is a subversive story about gender identity, sexuality, gender roles, Japan's problem with its conservative culture and misogyny, all wrapped up in a high school tournament arc. That is the whole show. Is a woman declares herself that she is going to be a prince, and so she has to duel a bunch of dudes to earn that right. Really, really good. Highly recommend it. It's so beautiful to look at, beautifully animated, even though it's like 30 or 40 years old now. Oh god, 30 years old, I think.
You feel old yet?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was, so by the time I became aware of anime, it was out and people knew about it. So it had to be, I think, early 90s maybe. But highly, highly recommend it. In the relationship between our protagonist, Suletta, who is, I know people are making jokes about it, but she is our first female Gundam protagonist in a main series. Camille doesn't count.
Nope.
That's like a joke that everyone makes, but whatever. And she is right. They start off in like beat for beat. That first episode is the first episode of Utena. They have
Yes.
she goes in, she has a duel, and now she Suletta is engaged to the girl, the daughter of the man who killed her family.
Oh, yeah, Miorine, I think.
Yes. So that, like, I someone else said it on the Discord, and I watched that first episode. I was like, holy shit! Like, absolutely, they're right. The other story that it seems to be heavily referencing, and this may be a weird one, is The Tempest by fucking Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah, I
The
saw
reason
that.
this makes me so excited is because Revolutionary Girl Utena is absolutely a tragedy. In the classical sense of the word tragedy. The story is a traditionally structured Greek tragedy, whereas The Tempest is a traditional comedy, like a Shakespearean comedy. So I have no fucking idea where this story is going to go, but I think it's going to go to some absolutely bonkers places. I'm excited. I wonder. I've read some interviews with the creator. They seem very unhinged, but
And probably, I
in the
assume,
way
a good
that
way.
maybe I wouldn't like interacting with them as a person, but I will absolutely like dive into the art that they create. They're very into Yuri, the like not like in a pornographic sense, but in the like story theme sense. And they like this interview they were giving was like differential equations are Yuri in a way because I'll find the quote and I'll put it up because it is fucking insane. Ah, fuck me! God damn it! I shouldn't wear this armor.
Thinking about Yuri too much, Cameron.
Yeah.
You're losing your touch.
And that's what this show seems to do. It seems like you were saying earlier, Tom. I think about how like this show has a lot to say about masculinity, toxic masculinity, like the way that the king dude, Delling conducts his business, and then like the first episode is Suletta essentially asserting her place as a woman in front of a classic like high school male bully and standing up for a girl. And then the second episode is the driving point is a girl who gets like ignored and pressed into this traditional gender role, standing up to her father. Now all of this is happening with giant robots, but still, it's pretty good stuff. So I think the series is going to be a very weird but fun hybrid of lighthearted and heavier stuff. There was to me some jarring, like not in theme but in tone. The prologue starts out with the main character is 4 years old, and it's essentially the fall of her family and their business when she's really little, and then it picks up. There's a little short story there that happens that kind of spans the years from when she is 6 to 16-ish. I think that's how old she is now. And then the show starts out and she's going to high school as like a 16-year-old for this program. It just seems to be doing a lot of unique things. Like Gundam generally doesn't seem that concerned with software, like as you were saying about AI. The original Gundam was like a very analog robot, and they had these like incredible science fiction technologies. But like a big thing about the Minovsky particles.
Yes, Minovsky particles.
Was that like they basically made computers and certain electronics not work. So like everything had to be super analog, and a lot of Gundam has kept those traditional like analog elements, but the Gund ARM system and the Gund format seems like them like finally coming into our 21st century of context, where nowadays wars are won with surveillance and digital sabotage.
Drones are a
all
theme
sorts of,
that kind of fits in there
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't think we've ever seen Sergeant Girl before.
No, go ahead.
We've ever seen Gundam be hacked before, have we? Well, biohacked, but not like remotely hacked before.
Right. Yeah, like there's all sorts of interesting possibilities here because like they're bringing that into the story now. The other thing is, and again, we mentioned it earlier, Gundam has generally been concerned with global politics, international politics, but in this case, this story seems very much concerned with the relationship between corporations and government. So to me, the Cathedra agreement is very much representative of like an OPEC type organization, like a syndicate of corporations that are in some ways able to act like governments because of the power they wield. And like they kind of touched on that before in, for example, like you said, Iron-Blooded Orphans. I also think of Wing with Oz, but Oz ended up becoming like just the government. Whereas this one, because we have these distinct companies that have different interests that they've already talked about, then I don't think that's going to be the case. We're going to deal with like the effects of corporations. I don't know that we'll talk about topics like corporate personhood, because that's not like a thing in Japan. That's a weird American thing that we do. But I'm really excited to see, how things
I got that. That's why.
One thing that and this is just my personal taste, this has nothing to do with the quality of the show, I'm a little bummed that we don't get to see more of Gundam Rubris. Because Ariel is awesome, and they're essentially the same mobile suit, but Ariel has traditional Gundam colors, and I love the white and pink together.
You're talking about like the prototype, right? I say prototype.
So weird. Second complaint. The prototype is spelled Lfrita. They fucking pronounced it Rubris in the show, and I was
really?
so
I didn't even
confused.
notice.
Yeah, it's right. It's when you're converting Japanese phonetics to like English phonetics, like L and R or something. God damn it, that's the second time. Sorry. I tried finding that model kit, and I was searching for how I thought it was spelled, and I wasn't able to find it. And then I found it, and it's sold out everywhere.
For the pink and white one? I thought it would be all Ariel right now.
It's all so Rubris is out, Ariel is out, and the Nuke suits, the first wave of Nuke suits are out, but they are all sold out everywhere. I've heard really, really good things about the model kits too, like just from a pure model kit building perspective. They're supposed to be really fun builds. The joints are really nice. It's yeah, I've heard really good things. I want to check one out at some point. And that's despite my fucking like 6-box backlog of model kits that's still being built. So probably they're only good.
I still got 3 myself from a year ago.
Yeah,
I have like 3 versions of Arbitrary because he's my favorite boy.
Nice. I got a bunch of Leos. I got all the Oz because those are my favorites. Yeah. So it's like it's really cool that we've got our first female protagonist, and they're doing this Revolutionary Girl inspired like storyline, and to me, and we've seen it in the demographic data, it has pulled in a lot of people that are anime fans that aren't necessarily Gundam fans to come check Gundam out. And it seems like they're executing well enough that maybe they'll stick around and check out other stuff as well.
Real quick, about getting into other stuff. I'm not sure. We are obviously. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Sorry.
Okay. Say that again?
Continue what you were saying. I'll be right back.
Oh, sure thing. So I don't think we've gone over the episodes in detail. I guess if you like want to be I'm gonna try and do it spoiler free. But there's certain things I really enjoyed. We talked a little bit about Suletta's personality. She's like socially awkward. So Osprey, she grew up on this mining colony on Mercury, and like she was essentially the only child in the entire colony because Mercury is so dangerous. It's got such high temperature fluctuations. It's such a hostile environment. The only reason she's there is because her mom is trying to hide her, right, from the OPEC dudes.
Right.
So, like, in the short story between the prologue and the first episode, they talk about, like, she's so excited to have this opportunity to go to school, to meet other peers and things like that. But they definitely, I thought they did a great job of portraying it within the bounds of anime, like, tropes and all that, the awkwardness that that a kid would experience in that. I don't know, Tom, how you felt about it.
I'm like I said before, I'm a little biased because, you know, if I'm like trying to like grok the plot of an anime story, I can take it at like a much higher like face value than a lot of people do. I think that in terms of personality, like I like her a lot. I also do like the, I
So
refer
cute.
to as Mikazuki. What's the man? I can't remember his name now from IBO.
Hiro Yui.
Yeah, the hero of that story. I refer to him as like the stoic himbo because he's very, very good at piloting things and using a handgun, but he's not exactly like skilled at like social cues and things like that. I think I like more of the protagonists who are sort of like not incompetent, but like who lack something that the story is trying to like provide them. Like Mikazuki tries to open up to people more. It seems like Suletta is gonna be like a little bit more confident by the end, if I'm guessing the anime trope right. Yeah, exactly. Hi, hello, himbos, baby. But that's kind of how I view Suletta in the same way, about not like an intelligence thing, but more about like I like the more like incomplete protagonists.
I'm trying to post a quest. I don't know why it's taking so long.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm actually it's because you just lagged out, I think.
Speaking of Monster Hunter for a second, has anyone tried the Intrepid Heart from Fleming Espinas's armor set yet?
Intrepid Heart? I don't know what. I haven't built that set yet.
No?
I tried it on a Switch X set, but yeah, I think it's not that very good.
Yeah.
Tom, can you? I'm gonna rejoin the lobby. Can you post the Mitsune quest? That's what I was trying to post.
Yeah, I can do that one.
Also, the first time I saw the skill code, because they changed the skill chain crit into burst, and I was like, is this new? This sounds exactly like chain crit. And then someone told me they changed the name, and I'm just like,
yeah,
no.
they did change it.
Oh, cool. So we got like a new chain crit skill.
No, it's the exact same thing.
Does it stack with chain crit?
No, they renamed.
They just
chain crit
they changed
to
the name
burst.
of it.
Okay.
And that's what got me confused.
I think I posted the right one, Cameron. I did it already, so I'm not sure if it's the right one. But where I was
Tom,
going,
like you were saying, like she's this sweet cinnamon roll that, like, I'm a little apprehensive about, because like if they want to destroy our heart, they have the perfect character to do that with.
Yes.
Gundam's all about. Yeah.
Do it, you cowards.
Yeah, exactly. And where I was going with the whole point was like I like those more incomplete protagonists because I have imposter syndrome about a lot of stuff. So it's kind of nice to be like, yeah, it's possible that people can like grow and overcome stuff, and that's not, that's anime 100%. But I think it's interesting that Gundam is doing more of this, like Paz was getting at earlier. We're seeing like less of these, my dad was an Earth Federation pilot, and I want to be just like him, kind of types who like already have the confidence. We're dealing with people who are like Nate had a D&D character kind of idealized like this, where it's like she was very quiet and very timid about like everything except this one thing she's really good at. She's just like, oh, I'm fucking great at this, or it's like, oh, I guess I'll try my best, and then she just smokes the competition completely. I like that as a character arc, because it's sort of like some people have power that they don't realize, or have skill they don't realize is something that they can apply because they don't understand how to use it in like the social context. And I think Suletta is going to be, at least I'm hope, is going to be a really good example of that. But I like her. And yes, I love, she's very cute, and I like the two main female characters.
I like the red hair. You don't have a lot of red hair main
her hair is great.
Yeah. Shanice, is the main character going to win with the power of friendship? No, the main character, this one is 100% going to be, if it's not a tragedy, the main character is going to win. If it's the way they're referencing the Tempest, the main character will win with the power of love, and Suletta and the other girl are going to get married at the end, and Ariel is going to fly off into space.
Yeah, and if not, I'll be really mad.
If they are really following the Tempest.
Real quick, I don't know how much other people follow anime, but as the resident weeb, I guess, because we are talking about anime, just some real quick suggestions if anyone wants my personal opinion. For anime, real quick, we have Spy Family Part 2. If you saw the first one, you're gonna like this one. Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 looks amazing. My Hero Academia. There's a reason there's 6 seasons. You want it, they're good. And then of course Bleach, 1000 Year Blood War is finally being adapted from the manga to the thing. It's been, God, so long.
There's a
but
reason there's a
Studio-
billion seasons of Bleach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't Bleach end
there
recently?
is-
Or am I thinking something else?
The Big Boi, everyone I think should watch. Not if you don't like gore. Do not watch it if you do not like gore. Is Chainsaw Man. It sounds weird. It is weird, but God, is it beautiful? And the studio behind it is known for just saying, "What's a budget? What do you mean anime budget? What is that?"
Those are all shows that I have been meaning to watch for a while now.
Also, here's another really interesting one. I cannot pronounce it properly. Yusi Yurusei Yatsuura is like the, how do I put this? It is the granddaddy of every somewhat light core ecchi series on the planet Earth. It's the original. It's done in that 80s art style, and if you have any idea what I'm talking about, you probably already have it on your radar. And yeah, there's a lot of really good anime out, besides The Witch and Mercury.
Is that I don't know it's an anime. I heard about the manga that is ecchi, like softcore, right? But it was a sex educational manga, and I thought that was like, I haven't checked it out, but I thought that was like kind of an interesting thing.
There are some like that, but that is not this one.
There's one that like is a really long running series. I'll have to look up the name at some point and remember what I'm talking about.
But yeah, there's a lot of really very fun, very good anime. I think definitely the top 3, if you're like, I can only watch 3, what do I pick? Chainsaw Man, easy pick, if you don't mind gore. Bleach, if you're caught up, watch it. Please don't watch it and then be like, what is all this about? There's a lot of episodes, just go watch them and then you'll be caught up. But if you don't, I would say Spy Family, Mob Psycho Season 3, and Chainsaw Man are your go-to. All gonna be amazing. All smash hits, definitely. There's some original ones that are coming out that I'm not super hyped on. I feel like, you know, there's a lot of like I swear to God, animes are just sounding like manhwa titles nowadays. Like I've somehow gotten stronger by improving my farming skill. That's an anime.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Go ahead.
Another good one is
Say that again?
Cells at Work is a really good.
Oh, Cells at Work.
one's
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
slice of life, but within the body.
Yeah, and apparently it's actually overall pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you recommended that to me, and I watched a couple episodes of that, and I thought it was pretty fun. Yeah, Paz, manhwa is just Korean manga, right? Or am I misunderstanding something?
So manga, it's kind of 50-50 because manga is like, they're kind of loose words. Manhwa is essentially it is a Korean type of manga, but it can be done by anyone. You don't have to
It's
have
a format, not a place of origin.
Exactly. So there are hundreds of manhwas, and I'm not sure if you've heard of Solo Leveling. That one that just exploded. That's actually one of the first ever manhwas to get a anime series. But yeah, ever since then, a lot of
What defines the format?
a lot of it is there's a solo person and their goal is to get stronger, and it's just the format changes. Like this person went back in time and they remember everything, so they're going to cheat the system, or that's what a lot is heavily based on right now. Or someone plays in like a full VR virtual simulator type game and they broke a skill and they became god. It's power fantasy, 100% pure informal power fantasy.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's more webtoon or webcomics than official sources because a lot of stuff would not fly.
Independent artist kind of thing.
Yes, I mean the art, a lot of it is amazing, but there's so much cookie cutter. Like if you've seen one manhwa, you've seen probably like 100. But yeah, so but yeah, that's a lot of titles are similar to that anime. Like, I did this obscure thing and I became the strongest player in the world. Like, I raised my farming skill and now I'm a god. It's like, okay, that's a theme. A lot of it's about a lot of it's like taking place. Also, a lot of cultivation and Buddhist terms. Like, oh, I'm a cultivator, which is essentially just I cultivated stuff, which is Buddhist. So I don't know the manhwa. That might be the Chinese version, because I know Chinese has a lot of Buddhist or some form of Buddhist symbology and religion stuff, but they're interesting. I always suggest someone to check it out. If you want probably the best one, definitely check out Solo Leveling. It got to the point where like it's getting its own anime, and it's the very first manhwa. Oh, actually, technically I'm wrong. A lot of actually the light novels of manhwa get adapted. My time I got reincarnated as a slime, got adapted from the light novels, and that was originally a manhwa, but a lot of stuff getting adapted. But that
Interesting.
one that kind of stood out, I would say.
Razor Beast is saying Bleach anime way too much filler though. Solo Leveling is good. Tales of God and Demons is good too. Yeah, when I have a time, I'll have to check it out. I got two more things I want to talk about on Witch from Mercury, and then maybe we switch over to TTRPG stuff. We talked about the Gundam design a little bit. What did you guys think of the Moot suits?
I love them.
Yeah,
From what I saw this before.
The Zaku equivalent looks really neat. I think it's that one's a custom version, I'm sure, because it's like the Aces version, so we haven't even, I don't think we've seen the generic one. The trainer is really cool. I want a trainer model set. And then I'm very happy with the suit designs. And the last thing I wanted to touch on, I think we've talked all about the themes, but in terms of characters, what did you all think of the Char clone for this season?
Wait, so which character specifically?
I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to say who it is,
okay.
but the one with the mask in the second episode. We all know who that person is, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We do. Once again, it's a little
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this time it was funny because they don't have blonde hair, and I was like, huh.
Yeah, but
like the mask and everything.
Yeah.
And their relationship with the main character being what it is has me so excited.
Yeah, I am excited for that.
Like, so excited. Check out Witch from Mercury. If we haven't sold you on it, then it's probably not your thing. But I think the prologue is worth checking out, and that's free on YouTube. And then the other stuff is also available for free with a VPN or other sources. If you have Crunchyroll already, you can watch it there as well. Easy recommendation. We're only 2 episodes in, but I'm excited for the ride. Oh yeah, go ahead.
In my opinion,
Made in Abyss. I watched the first season of that, and our friend Max really loves that series. I don't know how far behind I am on what's out. Is there like season 2 or 3 or 4 now? Gotcha. That's actually the way I think I've grown to prefer. There's certain shows that I want to watch the English dub in, but most of the time I think I just prefer watching Japanese with English subtitles. Not German subtitles though, unfortunately. do you get stuff subbed in German pretty often, or is it they just rely on people knowing English?
Rely on people.
Ah, that's lame. All right. Hey, one. That's Mitsune done. Two, Osprey. I know you wanted to talk about TTRPG stuff, and I think I saw Cheryl here earlier. Yeah, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah. So I did get the chance to do a little bit of Pathfinder. So far I'm really digging character creation. It feels a little more easy to build characters with their own flavor than in D&D. Like, I still like D&D. This is not gonna turn into, oh my gosh, Pathfinder is so much better than D&D. I still have like things I like about both of them, but some of the things I've liked about Pathfinder so far. Character creation has been pretty cool. There's a lot of flexibility there to make a character that you want to make. Hi, Cheryl. I do enjoy the free action economy for turns. I feel like that allows me to do a little bit more, like, I don't lose like a good chunk of my turn if I don't have a particular reason I want to move. Because movement is one of the things you can spend one of your 3 actions on.
Yes, instead of a distinct. So instead of Instead of a distinct action, bonus action movement, now you have 3 points you can choose to spend however you want.
Basically, yeah. Which honestly made Fighter a little more engaging for me. My first experience, I had a little trouble keeping up because it was the Pathfinder Society, which is kind of their equivalent of Adventures League. And I was the only level 1 character. And it was for like characters level 1 to 3 or something. Everybody else was like higher level than me. And while they do have things to kind of help with that, everybody else knew the game so well that I think I missed out on, and they would like helpfully explain things to me, but since it wasn't geared towards showing a newbie how to play, I think there's a lot of stuff I didn't get because I didn't know to ask. Like, it wasn't until after I was talking to somebody on the Discord later that I discovered, oh, there are more ways to use skills in combat in Pathfinder. That it didn't occur to me to ask because I didn't really realize that was a feature of the system. So I'm still very much looking forward to the newbie introduction later this month.
Yeah, that's not this weekend, but next weekend. We're going to be playing some Pathfinder.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been kind of lurking on some of the Pathfinder subreddits, and so far, like, a lot of what I'm actually hearing is that it's actually easier to GM for Pathfinder than it is for D&D 5e. With D&D's current trend of kind of the DM will figure it out. We don't need to put out as explicit of rules sometimes. A lot of them have been saying that it's a lot less stressful to GM.
Yes, I've seen that as well. There's a lot less need for a little more looking things up, but less need for decisions on the fly.
Yeah, which I'm not gonna lie, that sounds really nice. I'm definitely looking forward to some of the adventure path stuff if I get to try that out, because it would be really cool to do like campaign. Just because, like, I don't know. So far, it just seems really cool, and I figure I'm gonna have a little bit of rosy glasses just because it's all brand new. It is a new exciting shiny that I'm playing with. So but like one thing I've noticed at the beginning of like some of the adventure path stuff for the player's guide is they'll talk about what kind of will fit the thematics and what will tie in easily, which I think is super cool because it helps give me a starting point for, because I have so many character concepts and ideas that I can play with. It's just knowing which one's going to actually interact with the plot more is really nice.
Yeah, I would love to have like a little Pathfinder campaign on the Discord at some point. Even if I don't have the bandwidth to participate in anything new myself, I think it would be great if we're doing more than we're doing a lot of D&D right now. But I'm hoping, like one of the commitments I made to myself is to play an RPG besides Dungeons and Dragons once a month at least. So trying some new stuff. I still have a lot of fun with Dungeons & Dragons, and I'm not done with it, but I am excited to taste the wider world out there.
Yeah, my current list of like specific systems that I want to like explicitly try that aren't like I'm still interested in like trying out that Transformers one you were talking about, like kids on broomsticks, stuff like that. I'm still kind of interested in that, but like some of the systems I really want to get the chance to try are Shadowrun, and Fantasy Flight Games Star Wars system.
Yeah.
Those are two I really want to try.
Yeah, and that'll be fun if we have a couple different GMs running a couple different options. I think we'll definitely be able to find people interested in playing those. So hopefully that's what'll happen.
I will say I am not confident enough for most systems to run it without having played it. Just because
I feel you there. I tend to feel the same way.
Yeah, it takes me a while to wrap my head around rules systems, especially if I haven't seen them in play. And especially Shadowrun, that system is so crunchy. I absolutely refuse to even consider running that one until I've played it because wow, looking through that rule book.
Don't look at any rule sets about explosions. The funny thing about Shadowrun, real quick aside, is Shadowrun has like how source books happen in D&D. Shadowrun has them just for like physics or like car driving stuff, I think. Like D&D has like different subclasses and things. Shadowrun's just like, hey, have you ever wondered how breathing underwater works? Here's a source book.
Yeah, I'm more interested, I think, in some of the lighter rules stuff. Because as much as the grognards like to complain, Dungeons and Dragons is definitely on the heavier side of rules systems.
For sure.
So like kids on bikes, kids on broomsticks, command droids, the Transformers one, Shadow Dark, not Shadow Run, Cyberverse, like all those systems are more rules light than D&D is. So some of those I could probably hopefully check out and maybe run even if I don't play it first. But I'd also be down to play in some of those games if possible.
I think at one point the Atomic Fox was looking at doing a little bit with the Fantasy Flight Star Wars, so...
Yes, I do remember her mentioning that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's mostly what's been going on with me for TTRPG stuff. I got to do a little bit more Realm of Crossing this last week. We successfully negotiated out of a fight with a dragon instead of fighting a dragon. That was pretty cool.
Yes, it was pretty great. I was very 50-50 on how that was going. I was prepared for both the fight and the possible negotiation. The party went and I guess, yeah, you want to talk through what the purpose of that was and everything?
So there's two Goliath clans that have been fighting over, have been fighting for ages. Hatfield.
Yeah, 100%. Some slight that happened a long time ago, they're both still picking up.
And one of them was like, oh, bring me the treasure cloak leader and Samuel. And our partner, alright, we go talk to her.
And you're
like,
already kind of friends with the person who had the cloak.
Oh yeah, 100%. We're already so we're like, well, we'll go see what we can. So we go, and we talk to her, and she's like, oh, you know what? There's a dragon that's really a big thing that give you the gold, and you can do that with appreciation.
Yeah, and to be fair, it wasn't the leader's idea. That was one of the players presented. I think Atomic Fox presented that like plan of like, okay, if we are able to get like a better prize for you, would you give us the cloak? And I thought that was really ingenious.
Oh yeah, she's and I could just anyway, so we go off. We actually end up fighting this giant who actually ended up having ties to the Atomic Chapter. That was really cool. So that fight ended up
like that.
Yeah, it's like it actually ended up making the fight really cool, which I thought was really cool to see.
Yeah.
It's like Winifred's normally just so blasé about things and just like, yep, got this. Like, was raised by I forget which tier of adventurers, but Winifred's parents were adventurers, and she's already been to like war and stuff. So for all of this adventuring stuff is kind of par for the course. Then she came across this giant who had spoils from the war that she had been in that devastated the home. And so she was like, nope, this is serious now, and it was very, very, and like, Gabrielle did an amazing thing where she actually, ceded the kill to one of them. She's like, hey, do you want to finish the giant off? I'll let you finish the giant. So, and then Winifred got a really cool moment where she was basically like, this is for everyone who hit and finished off the giant, and then put because the giant had been enslaving this dragon. So while, and we had convinced the giant, I think this was also Winifred's idea, like, convinced the giant that he had stolen some of the treasure and instead he hid behind an illusionary wall.
Yeah, you had 3 people that could cast minor illusions, so you were able to build a facade of the cave. It very much reminded me of I think it's Mission Impossible 5, where they have a camera that takes a picture of the hallway and projects it into the guard's face. Like it was 100% that. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it would not be a stretch to say that Winifred is kind of the mastermind of the party.
Yeah, I think so.
But basically, so while the minion giant and the dragon were out with the thieves who stole the treasure, we killed the big giant, put the head on a spike outside of the cave. And when the minion giant was like, you know what? I think I'm not gonna deal with this. Bye.
Yeah.
We can have to fight that one.
Yeah, they realize they're not getting paid anymore, and there's not much of an incentive to stick around.
Yeah. Why would I bother? Sort of thing. And Winifred had been like, no. And the giant's like, I think I'm and then wow. So we went up to where the dragon was, and found out that giant had been like threatening the little wormhole. And we kind of had a crisis of, well, now that we know the dragon's not doing it of her own volition, I don't feel right killing.
Yeah, that was a very fun part of the adventure for me.
Wait. What color was the dragon real quick?
White. So still not a great dragon.
You kill it.
But like that like the adventure is set up, I think, in a very fun way. You basically climb a mountain you're given a task for the Goliath Elder to go get rid of a dragon that's hunting their hunters. You climb the mountain. There is some exploration challenges and survival challenges, but there's essentially 3 possible combat encounters. None of them like necessarily need to be combat encounters. But you meet a tribe of kobolds who are up on their way up the mountain to free the dragon, but they're like kind of hostile about it. And at that moment, when you first meet them, the information you have is you need to hunt the dragon. There's the potential there to communicate with them and talk with them and learn more about the situation, or you kill them all. Then you go up the mountain and the path kind of forks, and you can either go into the cave, which is where the giants are, or you can go up to the peak and meet the dragon right away. So if you all chose to go meet the giant, but if you had gone up to the dragon, you could have met the dragon, and perhaps if you met the dragon first, you might have either just tried to kill it right away because it is an adult white dragon, which is for your level is a tough fight. Or if you communicate with a dragon, then you learn more about the situation. Same thing with the giants. Had you chosen to, you could have perhaps talked with the giants and done some sort of trade for them leading and you getting free reign to kill the dragon. So there's not really like a 100% like moral answer here. It's a lot of just personal decisions and what feels right to your gut.
And to clarify, we did extort promise from the dragon, not like hurt any sentient beings.
Yes, in exchange for freeing it, it essentially agrees to be banished to another part of Icewind Dale. And
not like actually like stick to hunting like animals. What we basically said. So we did that, and I don't think we would have been able to make peace with the giants just because of the fact that we were at the battle for Silver Merchant.
Right. Well, and that's another thing, right? For this particular party, that door is kind of closed because of the history. But for like a different party of adventurers, they might not like care about that particular detail, sort of thing.
Was that actually in the module?
Well, it's something that I would present to. If I ran it again, I would include that as well.
Okay, because I was like, if that was just kind of naturally part of the module of the banner of Silver Marches being there, that's kind of a fun coincidence.
No, that was definitely me.
Okay.
I tend
so
to,
cool.
within the rules of Adventures League, I tend to add in as much of my own stuff as I legally can.
Yeah. So yeah, we took care of the giant, and then we convinced that dragon to leave and not harm people in exchange for sparing. So then we managed to use spare dragon scales that had been like shed on that mountain to make the cloak. So we didn't have to worry about the whole, oh no, we don't have a cloak. We found enough resources. And for the first time, like for the first time, Bayer actually got to use his leatherworking skills, and that was really cool. Because
Shanice, in this campaign, I don't think you've killed any dragons.
I mean,
nope.
when do we,
The
when
game's
do we
called
ever
Dungeons
kill
and
dragons in
Dragons.
D&D?
You've met dragons. I guess maybe the Charlatan dragon doesn't count. That's a construct. But you've met some dragons, but you haven't actually fought them. Well, you fought them. You haven't killed any of them.
Yeah, we barely escaped Arbitrary twice now. And then we met this other dragon in the Wormling. That's been it. We haven't like actually killed any of the dragons because, like you said, the Charlatan dragon's not the same thing. So it's just like, yeah, we keep. And then we ended up going to, after we made the cloak, Sire got a little bit of help from the Goliaths. Made the cloak and then went to go negotiate, and oh my gosh, the leader of that other Goliath clan is such a jerk and a coward, and it was taking all of Fire's self-control to not ruin negotiations by punching the guy in the face.
You got to live your own episode of Gundam. Political discourse.
Sometimes it's
like,
better not to be a murder hobo, you know?
oh yeah, like, I feel like Fire has successfully managed to not be one overall. There was like one time where there was a choice about whether or not I killed somebody that Fire was just like, and I think everybody else was like, let's see what Fire has to say, because we're kind of, I forget exactly why, but the choice was kind of deferred to Fire, and Fire's like, nope, we're doing a kill. Because it was the hag that was like cooking people in a pot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, don't feel bad about that one. She was a murderer. She was eating people.
Yeah, but to
Yeah,
be fair, also, how many characters can you just say, oh, don't worry about him, he's a murderer?
Yeah.
80% of every
D&D
character
has its theme. Yeah.
just
Yeah,
involves you being on the end of my spear. It's not my fault.
Yeah, it was actually kind of an interesting character moment, because technically the hag had kind of surrendered, but Fire had actually just kind of had a moment with, because he's an Asmar, so he kind of had a moment with the Spirit Guardian where he's just like, I feel like I should just stop her before she hurts anyone else, but I don't know, this seems kind of cold-blooded. But the Spirit Guardian's like, yeah, no, this being is evil and needs to go away. So Fire's just like, alright then, he's evil and needs to go away.
Who cares if it is cold-blooded? I mean, she ate a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She needs to be put in
true.
judgment.
Yeah.
She needs to be judged.
Yeah. The
Well,
Rime of the
sometimes
Frostbane
D&D
campaign was good.
Yeah.
The other, I'm trying to think, we played a bunch. So, Cheryl, I'm sure you already know, we did play Waterdeep Dragon Heist again, and the new episode came out on Sunday. So that is off hiatus again. I feel like every time we play that campaign, we end the campaign, and I'm like, I guess our last session is, or our next session is going to be our last one, because I don't know how these assholes are going to survive this next shit. It's like, it's constantly like, you'll see, Cheryl, when the episode comes out. It's like, it's supposed to be a heist, and these chuckle fucks are just like, it was an exhausting session to me, because they aggroed so many goddamn guards that I was like, I mentioned to them, like, I'm kind of annoyed because you kind of have me playing solitaire against myself.
You're
because these
orchestrating
two
Metal
factions
Gear
of
for
NPCs
people.
are fighting. What?
It's like
Playing
orchestrating
Metal
Metal
Gear
Gear, and you're all the guards.
Yeah,
Like, you gotta come up with the alert system and be like, oh, fuck.
I was like, well, because they like fucking every time we go in a dungeon, they goddamn split the party. And I'm like, stop doing that. In a normal campaign, I wouldn't care, but we're putting on a show, and this is annoying to me.
That's what you want, though, right? You want that entertainment factor. You want that fun. That's what gets
Yeah,
people
I
to show up
guess.
and
I mean, if
watch.
people like it, hopefully. But I just worry it's like a lot of me just like this is happening and this is happening, and all the players are like, well, I'm not in the room where that's happening, so I have nothing to say to that. Like, okay, so spoilers. They are raiding Xanathar's home base. Xanathar of the Xanathar Guild. They're raiding his home base for one of the eyes of the Stone of Galore. If you know the Waterdeep campaign, you know what I'm talking about. Um, and at the same time that that's happening, Bregan Dareth, the Drow mercenary company, is also doing a hit to get the eye. So they're racing against the two. But most of the
Heist off.
party, huh?
A heist off.
Yeah, a heist off, which like is a lot of fun.
More common
But
than you
like
think, also.
yes, but like they like in the base, which is a large dungeon, they split up so each one of them is in their own room. One of the characters turns invisible and just watches the leader of Bregan Dareth fight Xanathar for like 6 rounds. So I had these two legendary creatures that I was just playing against each other. I was like, "Do you want to do anything?" He's like, "No, I think I'm gonna stay out of this one."
I feel that, though.
It's
I
like,
would
well,
also do
if
that
you had the
myself.
rest of your party, maybe.
True rogue.
Nah, G, I'm good. That thing just
Yeah.
has a legendary resistance. I'm good.
Yeah. But yeah, Cheryl, you'll see that when it comes out. And then the other D&D I played, so I ran Waterdeep, I ran Rime of the Frost Maiden, which we've got a twofer next week. We've got in-campaign session and then the last of the Zorventroth storyline on Sunday. And then I did the Domain of Dread ICAF, which the first part of that, which I'll say is definitely one of the weaker adventures. This first part of that adventure. The second part I think is going to be a lot more fun. ICAF is characterized by a city that the whole plane is a city. The Dark Lord of the city, Tian Chang, is Empress, and she's always trying to rebuild her perfect city from her dreams. So the city's always changing, and that like is in mechanically that means you don't get a map. You just kind of randomly go from point to point. And that part I didn't like. The players and the players didn't seem to mind, but for me observing the players, they didn't have a lot of agency over the exploration. It was just me rolling random dice to see where they end up in the city, and they're trying to get to a specific point. I'd say I wouldn't recommend that opening part, but I think the second part is going to be a lot of fun because they're going to a one large location. So it'll be like a one shot, but the whole one shot is a dungeon that you can do in about 4 or 5 hours, which I think will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had to miss the first part of that because I wasn't feeling well. But yeah, I'm planning on joining them for the second part. So I actually haven't gotten to be in Domains of Dread so much recently because life's just been chaotic.
Yes.
Oh, and good news though, I'm up to over 80 designs on my Redbubble shop.
Oh yeah, we'll put that link up. If you haven't checked out Osprey, he's been doing all sorts of cool pattern designs over on Redbubble that you can get on all sorts of stuff, mugs and magnets, and I think at some point I want to get a mouse pad.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I don't actually have a mouse pad. I use a trading card game playmat.
Oh, okay.
Essentially... Well, it's like it fits both my keyboard and my mouse, and it's Transformers themed.
Well,
so
no, it's funny you say that, Cameron, because there are like those kind of paved the way for like things that I see my coworkers have now, which are just literally that, but for keyboard and mouse. So like you basically already have the standard thing.
Yeah, but I want a little mouse pad off to the side, or I don't know what other products they do patterns for. The other thing I'm thinking I need to get at some point, because I'd like to start playing D&D in person again once one of my 4 campaigns wraps up, I want to do. Maybe I needed to get a dice tower. Oh, can someone
They
smack
don't
me?
do. They
Where are
don't
you
do
at?
dice towers. They have like
Thank you, Baggy.
collectibles and shirts and like blankets and pillows and stuff like that.
Ooh,
And like
yeah,
stickers. Stickers are a thing. But yeah,
I'm not a big
my
sticker guy.
my goal is 100 designs by the end of the year.
I mean, I think you're on pace for that.
Yep, that I'm trying to be careful because of my health a little bit because I'm still not like recovered from the air being bad and like I finally actually found a therapist so I can actually start going to therapy now.
Yay.
So thank goodness because I've needed that for like over a year.
Oh
And then
yeah.
I'm trying to find a regular doctor to go into some of my other health issues. So I'm hoping I can do 100. I think I'm good because I have a few months. I'm at 82 or 83 designs at the moment, so I feel like that should be enough time.
Oh yeah. And we're done. I don't know, Tom. Is that our last hunt of the night, or do you want to keep going till 8:30?
No, I think that's probably good for me. My OBS preview is frozen, so hopefully it hasn't been shut down. I'm not sure.
Repeating the last like 5 minutes of the hunt over and over again.
Yeah, pretty
Oh,
much.
dear.
But I'm fine with that. I got a lot of those afflicted materials that I needed to get. So that works for me. Oh, you can hear us, Ratha. Okay, I'll figure out what's up with the video. I can fix that in post a little bit.
I'm
It might be OBS itself, like it's transmitting the audio but not the video.
Okay.
Not right now.
But yeah, I guess if the video is frozen, then this is as good a time to call it as any.
Let me go check on the shirts. They're all in the dryer, so it won't take long. And don't forget to wash those.
Yeah, I think we talked about pretty much all the stuff we wanted to talk about tonight, right? We got D&D, Witch from Mercury.
The big two.
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
the big two at least. Yeah, I'm not sure
And
what's
then
going
I
on.
think
D&D/Pathfinder.
Yeah, Danny is I think doing an art stream Wednesday. Tom, are you planning on doing anything Thursday or not this week with Blink happening?
Or Blink is this Thursday, right?
Thursday through Sunday.
Thursday through Sunday. Maybe I might do an Elden Ring stream again this week. Done it the past 2 weeks, but if I do one this week, it'll be either probably Tuesday or Thursday. Those kind of come up suddenly just because I kind of have to wait and play it by ear with work at the moment. But eventually, I'll get those down to a solid recurring weekday. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll
I think
have to
I've
play
got
it
a
by
goal
ear.
for tomorrow. I'm probably not going to stream, but I might try and hunt for a bit more off stream. So we'll get some more hunting in too.
Yeah, man, sounds good. All right,
Yeah,
well, if everything's wrapped up here, I'll fix the video issue for next time. But thanks everyone for hanging out. We
Thanks
appreciate
everyone.
everyone coming and hanging out and talking. So yeah,
Bye.
see you
Bye.
guys.
Bye, everybody.
Later.
Yeah.